Welcome students, welcome families and our partners. Today we are able to welcome dignitaries from each level of education, high school, 2-year and 4-year programs. And we know that this area of the state has an incredible history, a credible set of partners that have been working together to create innovative options for your students. That's why we're thrilled to shine a light on these collaborations today. We use these collaborations as examples throughout the state about how a district, how a 2-year, how a 4-year institution can really work together for the benefit of the students in that county and in that area. So we're pleased to bring them to you today. There are lots of options for you after high school. You can earn while you learn through paid apprenticeships. You can attend a community college and earn an associate's degree. You can attend a technical school and earn a certificate in a very specialized field of work. Or you can pursue a 4-year degree from one of our universities. You can even join the military or head straight to work. There are many options for you. The good news is that college continues to be a worthwhile investment for your future. If, and only really if, you finish what you start. There are too many people in Colorado right now with some college but no degree, and they cannot maximize their earning potential. The only way you can do that is if you finish what you start. Many short-term certificates or 2-year degrees yield higher wages, especially in the short term, and they may fill a very important in-demand Colorado job. Traditional bachelor's degrees do not yield the highest wage premiums 1 year after graduation, but rather there is a lag in the payoff for the bachelor's degrees. 10 years after graduation, sooner as well, but certainly 10 years after, bachelor's degree holders have the highest wage premium, and many bachelor's degree holders go on to pursue a master's degree or a graduate degree and have even more significant returns and higher returns. Students can dramatically reduce the cost of education by reducing the time and the credit load it takes to complete a post-secondary credential, a strategy that also increases their likelihood of success. I want to say that one again. Students can dramatically reduce the cost of education by reducing the time that it takes to complete, or by reducing the credit load it takes to complete a post-secondary credential. There are many ways to do that. You're going to hear some of those tonight. Whatever your interests, it is important to pick a path, complete the path, and start your journey. One of the ways to do that is by visiting mycoloradojourney.com, where you can find resources and you can plan your path. Pick the path, complete your path, and start that journey along the way. So now, without further ado, which is French for wasting time, I think. I didn't introduce myself, but I'm Dr. Angie Piccioni. I am the Executive Director of the Colorado Department of Higher Education. I sit as a member of the cabinet of the Governor Jared Polis, and the department is here to help you get to activate your full potential. So let's meet our panelists. We have some remarks from the panelists, about 2 to 3 minutes each, and then we're going to go into a discussion. Then we'll have some Q&A you can see on the agenda. And so you can either put some questions in the chat, or you can save them till the last 10, 15 minutes of our time together. So here we go. We have from the Greeley Evans School District 6, the Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Leadership, Anthony Osmus. We have the president of Ames Community College, Dr. Leah Bornstein, and we have the president of the University of Northern Colorado, Dr. Andy Feinstein. So if you would, in that order, maybe offer some welcoming remarks. We'll start with you, Anthony.
Yeah, welcome everyone. I'm Anthony Osmus. I am the Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Schools here in District 6, Greeley, Colorado, in the Greeley Evans District. Happy to be here to talk and support from the high school lens and the public school district lens. I'm super proud of our district for the last 5 years, how we have increased graduation rates, now higher than the state average, which is great. And we have lowered our dropout rates to our all-time low. Now that we have more kids graduating, we have increased our partnerships, especially with Ames and UNC, to get more students in our concurrent enrollment classes so they could get those college credits while they're still in high school. And that's huge. And we have only been able to do that with the help of our community. And so our community that passed the MLO, that money directly pays for our students so they can get those college credits. And we do believe that if we support our students here at school and we can get them onto a college campus, that they will complete a degree, whether it's an AA degree or a full 4-year degree. And so we're proud of those partnerships. We have also increased our internships, and so especially our rising seniors, that we're able to get them out into a career, maybe get into career or a business and work with people and get those experiences. We have increased our number of classes that we offer, PTech and others that would allow you to have a certificate as well as upon graduation. And so we feel like we are supporting each graduate in the District 6 and with our partnership to be both college and career ready or career ready. So thank you for having me.
Hello, I'm Leah Bornstein. I'm the president of Ames Community College. Welcome. We're glad you're here this evening, and this was a beautiful day here in Greeley, Colorado. So Ames Community College is 54 years old, and we have 4 campuses. Main campuses in Greeley, Colorado, also campuses in Fort Lupton, Loveland, and Windsor, and then additional locations in Loveland, the Flight Training Center. We actually share, as Anthony just mentioned, a great partnership in Greeley with an early college academy, as well as what Anthony mentioned, many concurrent enrollment classes, not just with D6, but certainly all over the Weld and Larimer counties area. We also share a fantastic partnership that's 1 year old that you probably will hear about later on, and that's with UNC, and it's Ames to UNC, where a student is a student of both Ames and UNC at the same time. So that's very exciting, and we're in the middle of our 2nd year with that partnership. A little bit more about Ames. We are a Hispanic serving institution, serving about 33% of our students are Hispanic. We are a veteran friendly institution, and we are working on an LGBTQA friendly institution status as well. The board has not increased our tuition for 10 years. We are $67 a credit for our, well, I guess what you would call lecture classes, if you will. And we're very excited to be serving our community. Prior to the pandemic, we were serving just over 9,200 students, unduplicated headcount. So that's truly fantastic in our whole service area. With me tonight, I have 4 of our my colleagues. We have Ray Chard, who's the director of high school programs, Fabian Garcia, who's the executive director of recruitment, Chris Peterson, who's the executive director of financial aid, and Aaron Prestwich, who's our assistant vice president of student engagement, inclusion, and success. So my guess is the majority of the questions you're going to ask, they're going to need to answer. But we're glad you're here this evening, and look forward to hearing what you'd like to learn more about.
Thank you, President Bornstein, and a good evening, everybody. It's great to be with you tonight. My name is Andy Feinstein, and I'm the president of the University of Northern Colorado. We are very fortunate to have such a wonderful relationship with District 6 and Ames Community College. The educational offerings in Northern Colorado are outstanding, and I hope those of you participating this evening will strongly consider staying in the area or coming to Northern Colorado to further your education when you graduate from high school. UNC is a public research university that offers more than 100 undergraduate and 100 graduate programs in a wide range of fields. With an undergraduate enrollment currently around 8,500 students, our student to faculty ratio is 17:1. And this allows our students to receive personalized attention in the classroom from devoted faculty who are very committed to our students. We are a very tight-knit community at UNC. One of my greatest priorities is ensuring a welcoming and inclusive environment for all of our students, regardless of their background. Since I became president in the summer of 2018, I am proud of the strong emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts on our campus, and I am pleased with the significant progress we have made in a short amount of time. At the heart of our strategic planning efforts is the vision to become a students' first university. Simply put, UNC exists to transform the lives of our students. In addition to receiving a personalized education at UNC, our students are empowered through leadership, involvement, and advocacy. It is our mission to give students the tools they need to succeed, and we strongly believe that our students are well equipped to do so. Like most educational institutions, we have faced our fair share of challenges in the last year due to the pandemic. But with an encouraging outlook around decreasing COVID cases and recent positive vaccine news, I look forward to welcoming our entire community back to campus this fall. We have been hosting in-person campus tours since October and have plans in place to do so safely. If any of you on the call are interested in visiting our campus, we would be more than happy to host you. Kim Medina, our Assistant Vice President for Enrollment, and Dave Fedorchak, our Director of Admissions, are on the call tonight and would be happy to answer some of your questions. There are good opportunities for educational pathways in Northern Colorado, including, as you just heard, Ames to UNC, which Dr. Bornstein will discuss even more as the evening progresses. Students who are accepted into this program are duly enrolled at both of our institutions, and there are many benefits from a student's perspective from this partnership. I hope that we will continue to discuss this program in detail shortly as well. So I want to be mindful of our limited time, and so I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Piccioni, and I look forward to more discussions. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, President Feinstein. I'm very excited to have all of you here, especially because I have gotten to know the partnerships and the collaboration that's happening up there. And again, I use that across the state as I have these kinds of town halls and as I talk to individuals. We have sprung up similar kinds of collaborations because you guys have led the way and pioneered the way. So I definitely, on behalf of the department and the state, want to thank you for leading the way on innovation that's really student-centered, really tries to help students activate their full potential, maximize their earning potential, and then also live full lives of fulfillment and become contributing members of our communities. That's the goal. If we can do those things, hey, I think we could live in peace. So thanks for doing that. Question for the school district. What types of post-secondary supports do you offer to help your students on their journey after high school? So if I'm a high school senior in one of your schools, how do you help me navigate that next step? Anthony?
Yeah, I'll take that. Here in District 6, we have what we call Gear Up grant advisors, and it is from a grant, but it does provide 2 advisors dedicated to the support of our students, especially at the post-secondary level, those that attend University of Northern Colorado and at Ames. The advisors check in with our students. They provide FAFSA supports, and they also help the students navigate the college community, and they connect them with services on the college campus. So even though you leave us and you've graduated and you've moved on to a college, we still try to provide that support so our students are successful. It's not about just starting a program, it's about completing the program.
That is so right. I say that all the time. I don't care which one you pick. There's no judgment, just finish it. And of course, Gear Up does sit within our department, so we know a lot about Gear Up. But just because we do have a lot of acronyms, if you wouldn't mind explaining what FAFSA is.
So FAFSA is you have to help me with the acronym too. So this is my first year in this one. So I know that we support our students with this one, but it's a financial aid. So it's the financial aid that you fill out to support you. And so, there are ways for you to get to college and to get some grants and get some ways that you can help with the funding at college. We offer all kinds of support for our FAFSA and for our families to fill this out. We come to every single school. We meet with every single senior. We have family nights. We actually just track down every single student. We go for 100% in our district that every single family fills out the FAFSA report, and we have multiple nights and opportunities to help families fill this out.
That's fantastic. And it's the free application for federal student aid. That's a free application. Note the word free. It's a free application. Yes, it feels a little bit perhaps personally invasive because it does ask a lot of financial questions, but you can also qualify for the federal student aid, which is an investment in your education. So it's not a loan, it's a grant. That is, I won't say free money, it's truly an investment that the federal government makes in your education. There is also state financial aid that you can get from your institutions, kind of through the department. The governor has just introduced a budget that has about $200 million of student financial aid, work study or need-based, some merit, some graduate. And so there is, and then there's institutional financial aid. I know we have financial aid advisors on here, so they could answer more specific questions. But there is financial assistance for you to go to a certificate, 2-year school, 4-year school to get your degrees.
Hey, Dr. Petroni?
Yeah, please.
You know, one thing that I've heard, and maybe someone on the call can correct me, that the deadline for filing FAFSA to maximize financial aid opportunities is actually coming up very soon. It's early March. I believe it's March 1st.
Well, it's kind of a first come, first serve. So I think it's open until maybe June, but the earlier you can apply, the better, the more likely you are to get some dollars, depending on your financial situation. The maximum you can get from the federal government right now is just about $6,200. It's $6,195 to be precise, but just about $6,200, which would pay. I mean, Leah just said, Dr. Bornstein just said, they haven't upped their tuition in 10 years. So you could pay, for sure, you could go to Ames tuition free for that $6,200. Am I right, Leah?
You are correct. And I believe Chris Peterson, who's our Executive Director of Financial Aid, unmuted himself and probably has some insight into this conversation.
Yeah, I'd like to just say that at Ames Community College, we do not have a deadline for filing the FAFSA. So, but other schools do have a priority deadline. March 1st is a common date for that priority deadline. But yes, you're correct. The pre-application for federal student aid qualifies you for Pell grants, state grants, the work study program. So we always recommend filling out the FAFSA as soon as possible.
Yes, and sad but true, in Colorado, we are actually one of the lower states in completing FAFSA. Our students are not completing it, and so they are leaving $30 to $50 million a year just on that federal table. And we could really use that support to help you get to and through your chosen journey, whatever it is that you want to decide. But like we said earlier, you have to complete it. And so in order to do that, it helps to have those dollars.
Hey, Dr. Angie, this is
please.
Marty Samaro from UNC's Director of Financial Aid. I also wanted to mention tonight that the state of Colorado has done a wonderful job by introducing the CASFA, which is the Colorado application for student aid for our Asset and Dreamer students within the state. No longer do they have to worry about filing with the federal government, but they can file the CASFA with the state of Colorado for potential state aid as well as institutional aid also. And I'll put that link in the chat also.
Thanks, Marty. Absolutely. That's new. And it's also transcribed into Spanish as well. So if you're more proficient in Spanish, you can download the Spanish version of that. But yes, we in Colorado, starting at the top, the governor believes that all of our students are all of our students. And so we want to provide the support necessary for everyone to succeed. Speaking of succeeding, what are some of the additional programs? I'll go to Anthony on this one too. What are some of the additional programs that you offer that help the students earn a diploma and perhaps even an industry recognized certificate while they are still in high school?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. District 6 is in its first year of providing 3 different PTech programs for students. We have 2 in construction offered at our comprehensive high schools, and we have another construction program at an alternative high school. We have 1 in manufacturing at one of our comprehensive high schools at Central. And so those are exciting. It's nice that we can expand in our high schools and create those pathways. Additionally, District 6 has worked to embed concurrent enrollment classes within the career and technical education classes. And we support our teachers in earning a post-secondary endorsement that allows District 6 to take the concurrent enrollment class on the high school campus. So while you're on campus, you can actually take college classes and receive college credit. 10 of the 18 CTE teachers offer concurrent enrollment classes within their pathway. With respect to our work experience, the district has a robust summer internship program that connects high school seniors with internships around our area. And this opportunity really is about 150 to 180 hours that students can earn in the career field of their choice.
Are those paid internships?
A lot of those are paid internships. Yes.
Good. We really believe in earning while you're learning. And so,
Mhm.
so many of those hands-on experiences give you great experience, but you also have to make a few dollars. And so it's good that we have apprenticeships and internships where you earn while you learn. I'd love to have Leah and even Andy, if you guys can jump in on concurrent enrollment. Why is that important, and how does that help to prepare students for actually college level work? Leah, you want to go first?
Sure, I'm actually going to defer to Ray Chard, who's our Director of High School Programs, who is going to be much more articulate on this topic than I could be.
Super, take it away, Ray.
Thanks, Dr. Bornstein. Ray Chard here. Very excited. As Anthony mentioned, we have lots of tremendous innovative programming that's happening. Everything from students being able to just take one class in an area that they're interested in, all the way through full earning of associate's degrees or credentials and certificates in various areas. And I think to answer your question, it's a couple fold. One, when I think of concurrent enrollment, it's a safe space for a student to just get their feet wet in the college going environment. And as Anthony mentioned, a lot of our concurrent enrollment is happening at high schools with highly qualified instructors. And so that's a very familiar space for students to sort of get their first exposure to college. And that can be a very powerful experience, particularly for a student that maybe didn't think college was in the cards for them or something of that nature. And so being able to do that. The second piece, and something I'm very proud of, and I'm proud of that Ames has continued to support, is about 50% of the concurrent enrollment offerings we have are actually in CTE pathways. And so, Dr. Petroni, as you mentioned, it's earning credits, it's reducing the amount of time that you're spending potentially post-graduation to earn certificates. And so many of our concurrent enrollment programs are in these certificate-based pathways, and over 50% of the credits that we're offering are actually in these CTE fields. And so, as Anthony highlighted a few of these programs, there are quite a few students graduating from D6 with construction certificates in hand as they're walking out of earning their high school diploma. And that's a really, really powerful opportunity. And maybe the last piece is concurrent enrollment in the state, and largely Governor Polis has supported this, is next to zero cost to students and families. And so when you think about an opportunity to explore career opportunities, get your first exposure to taking college courses, to do so in a supportive environment and a cost-free environment becomes a really powerful combination. And we have students, again, graduating from all over Northern Colorado, but particularly in District 6, with associate's degrees or certificates in hand, with next to zero cost to those families. I mean, those elements are incredibly powerful for sure.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ray. And you're so right. And oftentimes we have a lot of students who are first generation students, which means that their parents did not complete college. And so for them to navigate that experience, sometimes they might not think that they can attend college. And so giving them that early start, if you will, so that they can explore, like you said, explore some college courses. And then oftentimes they really gain the confidence that, yes, they can. That would be a nice slogan. But anyway, so they gain that confidence that they can actually attend college and complete college courses. And then what the research shows is that they are more likely to actually matriculate at a 2 or 4 year institution once they get some credits under their belt. And so we love that program. The governor does. We're trying to expand it, make sure that it's accessible to all students. Yeah. Andy, do you want to say anything about concurrent enrollment?
Well, it certainly has increased in popularity. And I did invite Kim Medina, who is our AVP for enrollment, to join us and talk a little bit more about what it means for UNC. Kim?
Thank you. We wholeheartedly support opportunities for students to introduce rigor into their academic preparation. And we see one way of doing that through dual or concurrent enrollment. So we have some partnerships as well with District 6, where we have highly qualified instructors that are teaching advanced English, advanced math, which allows students to not have to, it allows them to take it within their high school curriculum as well as in their building. So they don't have to worry about transportation back and forth to UNC. But we also have students that are choosing to take college level classes while they're in high school within our buildings. And so they're coming to UNC and they're experiencing that. Many of the courses that students are taking at Ames as well will transfer into our degree programs. So anything that is a guaranteed transfer course, we're going to transfer right into our degree programs. And so we feel like it's a great partnership, not only for students to be in our classes, but also we work with students that are in high school but are taking Ames classes. So we support dual and concurrent enrollment as well.
Thanks, Kim. And it's really important for the students and their families to understand that there are differences between dual enrollment and concurrent enrollment. And most of the concurrent enrollment, especially if it's a capital C and a capital E, those are part of those guaranteed transfer courses. And so make sure that you talk with your advisors, your guidance counselors. Do we still call them guidance counselors? Am I dating myself? But make sure that you talk to your counselors about the courses that you want to take. Because some students may want to go right into the world of work right after high school. And those are different courses that you might want to take, the career and technical ed, CTE, those kinds of courses. And then others are just wanting to get started early on their 2-year or 4-year degree program. So make sure you have those conversations. No one, there are no like dumb questions. It's just make sure you ask the questions, right? So that we can help you. There's a lot of help on this call. There's a lot of help in your buildings to help you navigate this system, right? Between the high school, the 2-year, the 4-year. I'd love to have, Leah, I think, are you on tap to talk a little bit about Ames to UNC? It's a groundbreaking, remarkable program. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
I would love to. It is, as I mentioned in the introduction, it is what we're calling a transition program, and it's for students who are either now or sometime in their future considering continuing their education beyond a 2-year degree or certificate. So it is, you are an Ames student and a UNC student at the same time. You have a Bear ID and an Aardvark ID. We share library, we share student activities and so forth. And of course, we're sharing academic instruction and so forth. So we're actually in the 2nd year of the program. The very first year was last year. We were actually very successful, but had 120 students in that program that are continuing to move through their semesters at Ames. And we had about 40 students who transitioned to UNC this past fall. And what was surprising and wonderful in addition to that is Andy and I weren't sure about how many folks would actually take advantage of the fact that folks could actually live in the residence halls at UNC if they wanted to. And we actually had a couple right off the bat who started, and then this fall had a few more. So I think that also is a wonderful possibility, because there are folks who would love to take advantage of this, but are really, housing is an issue and an option. And Ames is a commuter camp. All campuses are commuter campuses. So having that opportunity to live on a campus and have that experience as well is fantastic. So in our first year with that 120 students, about 70% are first generation, which means had never experienced college before, which is awesome and excellent. And in that 120, we had a 97% retention rate. And what that means is that 97% of folks who participated in this continued in this program and continued their education from one semester to the next semester. And for those of you who know retention rates at all, that is an incredible successful retention rate. So, so this program really has a lot of possibilities, and I'd love for Andy to continue the conversation around this, and also for perhaps Aaron Prestwich, who's our Assistant Vice President of Student Engagement, to maybe talk a little bit about the nuances of the student experiences in this program, because it really is unique and very, very special, and we'd love to see it grow.
Before Andy starts, it's not for every single Ames student. You're not automatically enrolled in both. This is a special program for those students who have the inclination that, you know what, I think I might want to get my bachelor's in the future. I want to start here. And so that's why it's It's, right now only 120 students, but by the way, that retention rate, the national average of retention is about 68%. So to be at 97, that's remarkable. So congratulations. Andy, what's in it for you at UNC?
Well, first, I'd like to start by just thanking Leah for her insight, her creativity, and it really was her brainchild. And I was happy to tag along. Once you shared the idea with me and showcase what you've been able to do at another institution and its success, I wanted to be a part of it. And I'm so glad that we've had this opportunity to build this program, because it is a benefit, a great benefit to students, not only students that are going to Ames, but also transitioning to UNC. And we treat them just like UNC students and Ames students. They're going to sporting events and they're staying in housing. They are treated like members of both of our communities. And I'm looking forward to this program not being 120 students. I want 400, 500 students in this program. And I think it's a great benefit, not only to the students, but to our community. So lots in the future for Ames to UNC.
Yeah, thanks for that. So many students, when they get started, they don't really have that line of sight toward that additional degree. And so this gives them a direct line of sight. It helps them feel really part of both communities equally, and they get the best of both worlds. And so I'm such a fan of Ames to UNC. So happy to be there when you launched it. It's great opportunity for students.
Dr. Bertoni, one thing I will share also that has been of great benefit is we have advisors that are specializing in supporting these students. So they meet with these advisors early in their career at Ames. They discuss the transition program, share with them what courses they should be taking, and it really helps them be successful in this program. It's a personalized attention that these students are receiving that helps them, I think, be successful, and why you're seeing these retention rates so high.
Absolutely. And if one of the folks on either end, the Ames or UNC, could put a link perhaps in the chat, that would be helpful. And the counselors on both sides. So there's a counselor at Ames and a counselor at UNC that helps to navigate that transition. That's great.
And Angie, if we have 1 minute, I would love for Aaron to just offer a few more words on Ames to UNC, since he works more directly with that program. So
yeah,
Aaron.
Dr. Feinstein, I think hit all the points. And so I think really one of the biggest benefits of the program is the incredible amount of collaboration between Ames and UNC. So we have program staff that are very committed to students. Our Ames to UNC coordinator actually is a former UNC employee and is very well connected with the rest of the staff at UNC. And so we're up to about 150 students that we're serving at the Ames campus. And we have had about 40 students transfer already to UNC. And we have about 20 students that are living in the residence halls at UNC. So the collaboration is fantastic. We meet often to continue to improve and build the program. But really the sense of community that it provides to Ames students, and then when they transfer on to UNC, is tangible. I mean, it's real, and students feel it. And we've heard that from them when we've gotten feedback from them. And so it has been a really impactful program that students have been able to be a part of.
That's great. And part of the program is that they complete their associates and then they do the transition. So they are not guaranteed, but if they work hard, they'll be able to get 2 degrees, one from Ames and then the other from UNC. So boy, I just think it's great. Anything else about the Ames to UNC, or what other kinds of programs are there that really help students who might want to make the transition or who are not sure? And some students go to a community college or Ames, but they're not there to seek a degree. What about those students? How do we help them become really successful?
Oh, you stumped us, Dr. Bertoni.
So I guess, again, I would ask Aaron to chime in on this if you don't mind, since he already has his microphone on.
So Dr. Paccioni, you mentioned earlier about how many first generation students we have. So both UNC and Ames Community College both have TRIO student support services programs. So these are two federal programs that are available through federal grants that both institutions have had for decades. And so these TRIO student support services programs really provide kind of a home away from home for first generation students, and really allows them to transition into college in with more wraparound support services, staff who understand their unique circumstance and will help kind of walk them through becoming a student and transitioning to college, but also then walk hand in hand with them through completion. So that's a fantastic program for anyone who's first generation or from a limited income background. Those are two of the main qualifications that allow students to be eligible for those two programs.
Yeah, thank you for that, because what we have found, and certainly my own personal experience, and I'm sure each of us could describe our personal experience of going off to college, so to speak, or even if it's not going off to college, but transitioning to a college and looking around to find someone like you. And so that notion of affiliation and affinity grouping and cultural houses that I know you have at UNC, that's a way to get the kind of support that people need, anybody needs, in order to be successful. We all need some support. So I would just tell the students that are on, or their families, make sure that your student reaches out and gets support. I was a college athlete, so I had a lot of support from the athletic department. But also I'm biracial, and so I sought out support for others like me. And so there's always, especially on these campuses, you will find an affinity group that you can relate to, that will give you the support that you need to be successful. TRIO is one of the best. Gear Up is a great program. All of the cultural kinds of houses and affinity groups that you might find on campus, please seek them out and use their support to help you be successful.
Dr. Petroni?
Yes, please.
Do you mind if I ask Tucker, who's our Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs, to talk a little bit about some of our student success programs?
Absolutely, please do.
Yes, I'd love to. As Andy said, my name's Tuck. I'm Assistant Vice President of Student Affairs. And Student Affairs, what that means for those that may not know, is it's all the services and things outside the classroom that help support the full life of a student, not just the academic, but the full life of a student. And if you look at our kind of offerings, how we help students be successful on campus, we kind of have two major areas. One is student affairs, which is co-curricular outside the classroom. The other is academic programs. So for our academic programs that really help with our student success, obviously we have a Center for International Education for our international students, plus for our domestic students that want to travel abroad and get those experiences. I'm going to give you some examples, but we have a Cumbres program that helps students, a scholarship program that helps students become English as a second language teachers. We have our Center for Honors, Scholarship and Leadership. We even have a Student Athletic Academic Success Center. All our colleges have academic advising centers. And then we also have SOAR, which is an advising center for undeclared students, which means you may not know what you want to do exactly, but we can help you find your way that way. We have academic coaching and support. We have tutoring. When I was in school, I took advantage of tutoring and writing center. We have a math lab. So if you need extra support around math, how many of you raise your hands? I'm just kidding. But yes, there's a lot of math support. Yes, exactly. And we have the Center for Enhancement of Teaching and Learning, which is called CDHE. And what they do is they help our faculty and staff learn about our students and do the best we can with our own skills and learning at the same time. For co-curricular, what's interesting is when you get involved outside the classroom, the research actually shows you do better with your inside the classroom, with your studying, with your research, with your grade point average, because you're more emotionally invested in the whole community. I think you can tell from our conversation today that we have great partnerships. So we work Ames to UNC. I work with the Dean of Students over at Ames all the time. We have our TRIO programs. All those are partnerships. And in the same way, our academics at UNC and our student affairs at UNC work together in that same kind of partnership, because really it comes down to attitude. Our attitude is that once you're a bear, you're always a bear. And now once you're an aardvark, then you're also a bear at the same time. So it crosses over really well. But we have physical engagement, like we have athletics, which is a top competitive sports. But we also have intramurals and club sports that at all three levels. We have social engagement. You know, our orientation leaders and our RAs, our resident assistants, our student staff that get to know you, help guide you through our programs and everything, and they stay with you your whole time while you're at UNC, living in the residence halls or on campus. We have all sorts of clubs and orgs. As a matter of fact, we have a digital gaming club where you do competitions with online gaming, and that's very exciting. And we have Greek life, so for fraternities and sororities that can help you with leadership and social engagement and philanthropy or service projects. And as they were talking about before, we have cultural resource centers for all different kinds of social identities. So for example, we have the Marcus Garvey Center. And this month, as you may know, is Black Heritage Month. And they put on all sorts of activities around education, celebration of Black history and Black heritage. We have the Cesar Chavez Cultural Center. And as a matter of fact, we're celebrating their 30th anniversary. And as Andy knows, they have this beautiful mural that they've just created in honor of that. And we have others, but for example, we have the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center, the Center for Women and Gender Equity, and a Veterans Center. So we have all sorts of ways for you to stay engaged and really to get the support. For example, what I mean by support is we all go through struggles in life, as you know, and we have a counseling center to help you with some in-depth therapy and connection, so to help you work through those things. We have an office called Student Outreach and Support. No matter what struggle you go through, they will help guide you and help you along the way, as they really have been busy during the pandemic with, as you can imagine, all the COVID impacts on our students. We have a bear pantry, which if you're food insecure, which means you may not have access to food, you can come and get food there. Our counseling center, as I said, and our disability resource center. So there are a whole wide array of activities and things that you can get involved in, but that help you when you stumble or that help you be successful when you have questions. And one of our biggest is student employment. We employ students across campus so that, as you were saying, can work and study at the same time. And our Center for Career Readiness does a phenomenal job of helping you discover your purpose. What do you want to do in life? How do you take your talents and apply them to life and help you find jobs afterwards? Like our career fair for education is the largest in the state and has combined several universities this year. And then they can help you find internships and jobs. But you know, all this comes down to what Andy has said, which is we're really about the attitude of students first. So please come join us and join our partnership that's represented here today. Thank you.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. I think with the Greek life, you can reduce some of that social engagement stuff. Keep them on the philanthropic and the service.
Yes, focus on the good.
I'm teasing. You just hit this whole spectrum of possibilities for almost any student that you can imagine. And so this is part of what we wanted to convey tonight is that it's so important to choose a path. You can do that in many different ways. Again, there is no judgment about what path you choose. However, it's critical that you complete that path. So if you choose a certificate program that's anywhere between 6 months or 2 years, you can get certificate programs that will get you right into the workforce right away. And by the way, some of those programs, you earn a lot of money in those programs. And then there are programs that are a little bit more extensive and that you will earn more money, but down the road. And so we don't care. We want you to pick a program, complete that program so that you can be fulfilled and inspired and that you can maximize your earning potential and that you can fulfill your dreams. That's really what it's all about. And again, like we've heard tonight, it's really about students first. Are there any other programs that I've missed that anyone wants to talk about real quickly? And then we're going to open it up for questions. So did I miss any other programs at any of whether it's the school district or at Ames or at UNC? It looks like we got most of those programs. So let's go ahead and open it up. I know we have a few students on and maybe their parents, and we'd love to take some questions if we've had some. All right, Marty's just saying that Pell Grant is up to $64.95. We added $300 or so, huh? Or $200. I'm hoping that the new administration I'd love to see them double that. So we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen. Other questions? Thank you for that, Marty. Questions? I won't call anyone's name, I promise, but. All right. Well, I sure hope that this time has been valuable to you. We want to make sure that we are accessible as a department and that we bring people together to provide resources for you. Uh-oh, here we go. My kids are freshmen in high school. What should we be doing now to prep for college? Anthony, you want to take that one? Or do you have a counselor on or someone that wants to take that?
No, I don't. It's just me. But really, reach out to your school and talk to them about what support you need. We do have programs like Avid in our school. So if you need, if your child needs support and just someone to kind of watch over them a little bit and give them some attention and gear them towards college, Avid is a way to go. And Avid is at all of our high schools and really all of our schools district-wide. We're just a K-12 Avid district. That is one way to get some support, and another way is just stay on it with grades, right? Our goal is to try to get our students in a position where they can take concurrent enrollment while they are in high school, right? So we might as well get you some college credits while you're in high school and have and get you there with really little to no financial obligation.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's one of the great ways to reduce the cost of college is by coming in with some college credit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fabian?
Yeah, absolutely. If I can jump into, I think exactly what you're doing right now is what you should be doing, is getting as much information as possible right now, especially as a freshman in high school, right? You still have potential 3-4 years to get as much information as possible. So continue visiting these type of platforms. If you can, go to as many schools, to their campuses. But really, what I would also recommend is try to work with your student to understand them on a more personal level. Besides the student themselves, you're going to probably be the biggest support system that exists in their life, right? So definitely try to work with them as they work out these potential programs that they want to explore down the road, and just really work with them kind of to get them to understand themselves a little bit better. So high school is a really, really difficult age for anyone, right? And especially trying to survive a pandemic. So just trying to be there and supporting them. And again, maximizing the opportunities that exist out there, the resources that exist out there, potentially visiting colleges if you can. I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah, and I don't know, Anthony, do you have any IB programs in the Greeley district?
Yeah, Greeley West is actually an IB college, so that's one track. All of our high schools also offer AP classes. So in STEM, we pretty much run the gamut of all the different programs. They're offered at somewhere. So that might be another thing too, is just find out interest of your child and what high school best meets those needs. We all have the support systems in the high schools, and they all offer the concurrent enrollment options as well. But lots of different programs that you can be part of, and sometimes it's just really feel like you're part of that high school community and getting in the right track and finding the right people and the right friends, and you want to continue that into college.
That's great. Great answers for that. And we also put the link to Ames to UNC in there. And so if your student is a freshman, now's the time to get them on the right track to say, when can we start taking some concurrent enrollment and how do we reduce the cost and the time to degree? Governor is really interested in seeing a degree in 3. So come out with at least a full year of college credit, and then you can do a 4-year degree you can do in 3 years, or you can do a associate's in 1 year. So it's all out there for you. We want to provide resources. That's our goal. Bring resources together like tonight. So please, we will have this recording available. Megan, do you want to say how we're going to do that?
So we can share it with the school district. We'll share it with all of our partners, and they can, feel free to distribute. We'll also likely, kind of get some just some snippets from some of the conversation. There's been some really great content throughout the evening tonight. So we'll probably be sharing some of those just kind of sound bites on our social media as well. But thank you all for your time. And
thanks, Erin. Thanks, Erin. And thanks, everyone. Remember that there are resources out there for you, whether they're financial, whether they're social, whether they're academic. There are resources galore. You just have to ask for what you need. So pick a path, complete the path, be successful, activate your potential, and contribute to your community. We are members of your community. We want you to contribute so that we can all live and work and play together. So thanks everyone on the call. Really appreciate your time, and we'll see you at the next town hall from the Department of Higher Education. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.